Hi, this is Agnés Jasmine, artist and empowerment through creative process coach. Today I'm going to be talking about starting a new chapter in your life. When you are entering a new territory, when you're making changes, when you are exploring possibilities and options, you do something that is unfamiliar to yourself and perhaps also to your nearest environment. That means that you probably don't have guidance from anyone you know. You don't have a person that you can draw advice, take advice from. Maybe you found people that inspire you, but not necessarily they are in your nearest circle, in your family, friends, and so on. Why? Because you are literally living, at least for a little bit, part of your life that you share with them and you embark on a journey. If you imagine that you are, for example, a sailor, I really love water, so it's one of my favorite comparisons. Imagine you're preparing your ship and you're going on a journey, and you can decide if you're gonna take some people with you, but you probably would like to take people who are experienced. Or if you don't know how to sail, you're going to people who already have experience in sailing. Or perhaps you are like a very free spirit that likes exploring, and you just decide to learn yourself and become a self-taught sailor, right? And learn from your mistakes. Sometimes you pay dearly for it, but there is a possibility also to discover something and learn something that you wouldn't learn from anyone else, because you do it your own way. And this is also how inventions happen. Nobody has followed anyone else. They bring something completely new, a fresh idea, perhaps because they embarked on a very lonely, solitary journey where they were looking for solutions themselves. Maybe you are like one of those people. Or perhaps you prefer to have a company or a mentor, someone you trust, someone who has learned the skills that you are looking to develop in yourself and who can guide you a bit. So in that journey, often we feel alone, because even if you're not changing entirely your life, just adding something to it or bringing some fresh air to it or changing some things, it is something that you do on your own. Most likely you don't drag all your friends and all your family with you. Of course, you might try a new hobby together with your partner and so on. And in this way you will grow perhaps in your relationship. But as an individual, it's about taking the responsibility for that change on your shoulders and carrying it yourself. That responsibility at first might feel heavy or scary, or oh, I'm not quite sure if I'm doing it right, and so on. But you will get accustomed to the feeling of aloneness and even not knowing and maybe being a bit afraid. You will get used to it, and over time you will become much more self-reliant and much more confident. You realize that you are learning and you're still safe, that it's safe to make changes, and that's one of the biggest good things that can happen on that journey, regardless of the outcome of your learning, is that you start feeling really comfortable on your own, doing something on your own, and you become more independent, more present. You are more aware of your needs and wants and your expectations that you might have from other people, and you are also more aware of your assets, of what you can give to others, because you just have a possibility to explore who you are. So when you learn a new skill or make a change in your life, you're really also discovering something about yourself that you perhaps didn't know was there. a part of yourself that was unfamiliar to you, and that will gradually influence all other parts of your life, and your personality also somehow will start changing. You might become more withdrawn at some point because you're spending more time in your own world. And at other point, you can become very confident and start playing more active parts in your relationship, at work, because you will learn what are your assets and you will not be shying away to show them to others. You will start valuing yourself more. So the changes that we want to do in our life, the new skills that we want to learn, they're all gonna play a part in opening this new chapter in our life, and sometimes it might be a bit scary or bring us some anxiety, maybe sometimes also excitement, enthusiasm, and like, yeah, finally I'm doing something new and something for myself. For sure, if you really commit to that journey, it will influence our life and who we are, and we have a chance of discovering something that we didn't realize about ourselves, about choices we have made, about our wishes for the future. And I think that notion of putting yourself there first for that maybe even limited time during the week. Maybe you have lots of responsibilities, maybe you're a mom, a dad, maybe you have a very busy time at work, maybe you're having a lot of responsibility for other people, maybe you're having a position when you need to really spend extra time at work as well. So when you're making that change, that for that limited time, committed time in a week or in a month, you do something for yourself and you come back to it. You learn something new. So you go into that a little bit special even time for yourself, and you're coming back to your, let's say, routine and normal life, and then you go back again to that place where there's space for you, time to discover, time to learn. That time that you spend here, if you made a commitment, it's gonna be, let's say, an hour a week. That's not much to start with. But even that hour a week will start influencing the other areas of your life. And then what's happening here in other areas of your life will start also shifting and changing, because you're gonna bring a new element to it. So imagine that so far your life was happening all over here. Now you realize that there's something missing, or there's something not quite right, or there's maybe too much of one thing or another. You'd like to change something. So at the beginning you might not know where to start. The good beginning is literally dedicating time to yourself. It doesn't have to be a therapy. It can be a hobby. It can be a passion. What it must be is literally finding space in your diary. For example, Tuesday at 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. I'm gonna be doing this and that. And ideally, you don't do it in your familiar environment. Because if you do it in your familiar environment, for example, at home, or maybe, I don't know, in your sports club, something that you've known, let's say this new thing will not give you such a possibility to make changes. If you have only an hour a week, I would recommend to find also space that's completely new. That would mean that you're going to a place that you haven't been in before. And in this way, that hour will be really separate from everything that's happening normally in your life. All of that 23 hours of that day and 24 hours of every other day of that week. That 1 hour will be really different. And if you spend that hour every week committed to being with yourself. You can do something you've never done before. You can just even, whatever it is, but you've never done it before, in a space that you've never been before. It will, I promise you, it will start shifting everything in your life. It will bring a fresh quality. It will make it also easier for you to come back, because you bring that freshness, the space of, I don't know, but I'm willing to explore. I might be afraid, but I want to see what it is about. And especially if you have that feeling that you're not doing enough for yourself because you don't have time, making that hour, or it can be more, and probably over time this time will grow because you will become more like enjoying it, that you finally are so important to yourself to find time to yourself, yeah? And you will discover things probably about yourself that you didn't have time to look at before. And that for sure will shift things. The journey is not easy. Change is never easy, even if it's a positive one, because we get comfortable in what we know. It's our comfort zone. If we start something new, it's out of our comfort zone simply because it's new. And that's also a very good way of staying younger, mentally younger, for longer. If we continue to learn, we continue really to grow. Agnés Jasmine, empowerment through creative process coach and an artist. Thank you for watching me. This is my YouTube channel, and there's gonna be more videos coming. And if you'd like to have a session with me, they're available online or in person, sometimes in Scotland and sometimes in Europe, in different countries and cities. I travel quite a lot for work, and I'm really happy to see you in my spare time, because this is my new endeavor, and I'm really happy that I can work with people in a way that I have chosen to share, because I want to share what I've learned through about my life, and that brings me a lot of joy to see my clients making changes and embarking on that difficult sometimes journey of self-discovery, because I know what a treasure is in it. And if you would like to have assistance from me, please send me an email and we can arrange a session in person or online. Thank you so much, and have a good day, have a good week, and good luck with making changes in your life. Agnés Jasmine. See you soon.